Hello and welcome. My name is April, and in this video, I'm going to talk about exactly what it is I'm doing here. As the title says, let's get real for a second, which I always am, but I just want to sink deeper into intention and vulnerability for a moment with y'all because through the creation of this channel, I have been sent deeply inwards to what exactly it is I'm doing here, not just on this channel, but on this planet. It has sent me so deeply in, and this channel has offered me a portal to anchor myself into the truth of my being. And it's definitely been an initiation. And it's been a great space for me to express, whether that's creatively or express a channel through me, or simply just be a guiding light through darkness, even while I'm in the darkness. And I've been grappling with the labels of teacher or guide or mentor or coach, and I don't know, they all just feel not in resonance with what and who I am, because I feel way more expansive beyond any label that could be placed upon me. And so I've been trying different things and even trying no label, just sharing my experience. But I feel like when I say I'm just sharing my experience here, that almost dims my light a little bit. That kind of is a way for me to get smaller because I'm afraid of my own power. I'm afraid of who and what it is I am. And I just want to be honest about the trials and tribulations I've been going through, which I always am pretty open with y'all, but I just want to be even more open and even more vulnerable to say, you know, I've experienced the deepest levels of my own self doubt and unworthiness since starting this channel like I never have before. And I knew that it was there, but it wasn't until I started this channel that it really shined a light on those aspects within myself. And for a while, I let the self-doubt consume me and make me small and allowed it to dim my light. But the deeper I walk on this path, the deeper inwards I anchor myself, the more my light just went out. The more I see through all of these distortions and illusions with such clarity, it's not even funny. I used to allow the self-doubt or the shame in who I am keep me small, keep me from speaking, keeping me from pulling my shoulders back and being proud of myself. But that's just not who I am any longer. I've anchored myself so deeply into my truth that I see the self-doubt. It still comes up. I see that cycle playing out, but I'm in a different space with it than I have ever been before, to the point where I know that it's not true. I don't hope it's not true. I'm not taking actions as if it's not true in hopes to prove myself wrong. No, I know. I know it's not true. I can feel it deep within my core, within my bones, that all of the rhetoric I have been saying to myself over and over and over again throughout the course of my life is not true. I know for a fact at this point. And this power, this sense of knowing I have found within me has given me not just a great sense of confidence, but also a deep humbleness to this life, a deep humbleness to my path here as a guide for humanity. This has been something I have been shying away from for far too long because I didn't think I was good enough, because I let these thoughts of self-doubt and who do you think you are consume me. But it's gotten to the point where I'm saying no. I'm not feeding the illusion. I'm not feeding the fear. I'm not feeding the low self-worth anymore. I know who I am. I've remembered on some level who I am. I'm not saying I'm enlightened. I'm not saying that. I'm still walking this human path just like the rest of us. That's not what I'm saying. But there's been this core remembrance, this core awakening that has wiped away all sense of confusion and has helped me to know. And through this knowing, I understand that my role here as this guide, as a spiritual guide for the awakening of humanity, is not it's not something that lifts me up like, oh, look how great I am, look how much I've accomplished and how far I've come. No, it's a deep surrender into the human vessel, into the depths of the pain that humanity is moving through, so that I can help guide from inside, help guide from within the pain, right? And this sense of confusion I was grappling with about who I am and what it was I was doing here, which was all games I was playing with myself, because on a deep level I knew what it was I was doing here. I've always known. It was just the matter of like, when am I going to stop playing games with myself? The games of self-doubt, the games of confusion. When was I going to stop and rise up in truth? The choice was always mine. And so, because of this great sense of clarity that has washed over me, I've been feeling called to put some type of offering out into the world, a deep offering that will reflect my transformation, that will reflect my journey, not just like some random offering that I'm going to throw out there and see what sticks. Now, this is something I've done in the past because I was confused. I was playing games with myself. So I was just like randomly putting things together, even just like 4 months ago. Like, I've changed so much in even just 4 months. It's insane. Even just 4 months ago, just like throwing out random offers to see what sticks, because I was unclear, I was confused. But now, as I sit here today as who I know that I am, I've gained more clarity on what it is I'm meant to offer and share and create. And even just here on YouTube, sharing all of these videos that I share. My intention always is to be a light in the darkness. My intention always is to be a guide towards source. I'm not trying to guide anyone to follow me. My intention is to guide you towards the God within yourself, towards the source within yourself. So do not ever put all of your faith in me or any other guide on the internet for that matter. If the person that you are being guided by is not leading you back inwards to the God within yourself, be careful. Be very careful with that. Use your discernment with these people. Not saying that anyone ever has like malintentions. Sometimes people do this and they're not even conscious of it. But that's just one of the responsibilities of a spiritual guide, is to become very clear on where we're moving from, on where we're acting from, on where our offers are coming from. And this is another level that I've been moving through myself, is getting clear on where my offers are coming from. Because to be honest, I'm putting my whole life, I don't want to say I'm putting my life on the line. That sounds a little dramatic, but I know so deeply what it is I'm doing here and what my purpose is that I'm moving in ways I've never moved before. I'm putting all of my trust and faith in myself and in the divine and on this path that even when reality is not reflecting back to me this knowing, I still walk as if it is because I feel that deep undercurrent. I feel the deep hum of God calling me. And I know that when I follow God, when I follow spirit or source, I will be provided for. And if I'm not, it's because there's still something blocking me, or I just need to surrender and continue moving forward, and I will eventually receive. You know what I'm saying? So the offers I will be putting out there moving forward are going to reflect my own transformation, what I've gained and gathered on my path so far, going from being somebody who had low self-worth, people pleasing, codependent relationships, unsure of who they were and what it was they were doing here, always seeking outside, needing validation, needing people, needing all of this outside of myself. Going from this person with low self-worth, chronically depressed, couldn't get out of bed, drinking problem, working at jobs I hated all the time, continuously, unable to escape this cycle, to now, 6 years later, 5 years later, 7 years later, living the life that I was creating back then. Because let's be real, the life that we create for ourselves is created in the present moment. The future life you're creating for yourself is created in the present moment, with how you are choosing to embody the present moment now. And if you are highly attuned to your own energetic state, if you're highly attuned to that, and then also have the know-how of how to shift it into truth, you've discovered something incredible. Not many people can do that. And it's one of the first steps to creating the life of your desire, is to be so in tune with your energy in every present moment, not stop there, but then know how to shift it towards truth and away from fear. That's like one of the very first steps that you need to learn in order to begin creating, begin manifesting. We're always manifesting, but begin consciously manifesting. And then there's also aligned action and all different steps. But right now I'm just focusing on this. Is becoming so acutely attuned to your own energy, which for a lot of people who are empathic, who are people pleasers, a lot of people pleasers are empathic, which means you're attuned to everybody else's energy and you're doing things to shift their energy. All of your focus is outside of yourself. You're trying to shift everyone else's energy into alignment. But what about your energy? You're leaving your own energy out of alignment. And for what purpose? To please other people. So a lot of empathic people are already very sensitive and highly attuned to energy. It's just that it's directed outwards to the world, because that's how we learned to be safe in the world. Was to be attuned to someone else's energy and shift it accordingly to keep ourselves safe. But that's manipulation. Now, are you able to flip that around and now learn how to become highly attuned to your own energy and how to shift your own energy, not through manipulation or some kind of weird tactic, but through truth? Because the energy you choose to embody is creating your future. And I got lost in that. And so, yeah, okay. So I had to get real with myself today. Like, honestly, if we're looking at this self doubt and we see where it's coming from and we know the truth, then the only reason we're choosing to listen to it would be subconsciously we don't believe in our own transformation. So then I asked myself, do you believe in your own transformation? And immediately the answer was yes. I went from that previous lifestyle of chronic depression, fatigue, unworthiness, and I, over the past 5, 6, 7 years, completely 180 transformed my life into peace, into worthiness. I've taken my energy back from all of the places outside of myself that I was giving it to, that was draining me. I have strong boundaries. I know how to speak my truth and use my words. I believe in myself more than I ever have in my entire life. And not only do I believe in myself, but I'm taking the physical, aligned action steps towards my goals every single day. I have deep discipline and devotion to the unseen realms. And these are things I would have never been able to say 6 years ago about myself. And just reflecting today on this has been so deeply healing and empowering, and has allowed me to commit and step even deeper into my power, into my fullness, so that I can be of greater service to God, to humanity. God first, humanity second. Well, I think that the order should go God first, me second, humanity third. That's the order we all should align ourselves to when it comes to service. You're of service to God first, yourself second, humanity third, others third. Because if you're not full in your cup and you're giving without being full, it's going to lead to resentment. And no one wants a guide or a friend or a partner or a mom who is resentful. So we must learn how to fill our own cup first and understand that it's not selfish. It's actually the greatest way you could be of service to others is to come from an overflowing cup of love and compassion, not resentment and exhaustion. So this video is a little all over the place. I just wanted to sit down and talk about these things because it's been things I've been thinking about since I started this channel, honestly. Like, what am I doing here? What is my purpose with this channel? And what do I have to offer? And do I believe in my offers? And so this video, the intention was to sit down and talk about these things, my purpose. What is my purpose? My purpose is to stand in my own truth, in my own sense of knowing, in my own light, and then to use that to be of service, to be a guide for humanity. Not a guide to follow me, but a guide to direct people inwards towards the God within, towards the source within. And my offers reflect my journey. Do I believe in my journey? Yes. Do I believe in my own transformation? Yes. Do I believe in what I share on here? Yes. Not to say that my way is right, your way is wrong. No. And that's why I was keeping myself small for so long, because I didn't want other people to feel like I was making their truth any less valid. But that's just not the case. Me being in my truth doesn't make somebody else's truth any less valid. They also get to stand in their truth. And this is where sovereignty comes into play. When you have created a sovereign space, a sovereign circle around your energy field, you're capable of standing tall in your own truth but you're humble enough to understand that not everyone's going to align or agree with that truth, and they don't have to. They don't have to. But in the same regards, you don't have to make yourself smaller in your truth because you're worried about rubbing up against somebody who has a different truth than you. You are a sovereign being. You don't need their approval. You don't need anyone to agree with you. But you could also be open enough to shifting your perspective or changing your mind when new information arises within or without. So it's not like a solid, firm, boundaried place. It's a fluid. You get to be fluid within the boundary, within the structure of your own creation. When you give yourself that structure of sovereignty, you allow yourself to deeply exhale and surrender into fluidity within that boundary, within that structure, to mold and shift and shape and change as you move through life. So I hope that this video shined a light on my intention and my role as a human in this lifetime. And you don't have to agree with what I teach, what I share, what I say, how I carry myself. It's not a requirement. We can be different and still hang out together. And if you do feel called to deepen your sense of knowing, to deepen your trust in yourself, to deepen your authenticity, to deepen the power of your voice and the power of your presence, I'm offering for now just one-on-one sessions. I'm going to do away with like group teachings for a while. I want to really deepen into this space of one-on-ones to just get to know everyone, because it's easier to get to know people on a one-on-one basis and to fulfill the needs of the person in front of you when it's just them. I may do group offerings in the future, but for now I'm just going to stick to one-on-ones so that I can really get down to the root of what it is you need in that moment and how I can be a guide for you to deepen into yourself, to deepen into your relationship with Source, God, Creator, Spirit, whatever name you use, and how to walk in faith, how to walk in trust, how to walk in knowing who you are. So if you're interested in these one-on-ones, I'll leave the link down below. I have one-time one-on-one sessions, and then I have like, what are they called? Packages. I have one package that's 6 weeks, twice a week, 12 sessions total. And then I have another package that's 12 weeks, 12 sessions, 1 session a week. So you can check those out and see which one aligns best with you and where you're at. And just know that for the packages, because they are a higher price, I do offer a complimentary 20 to 30 minute long either Zoom or FaceTime so that we can talk and explore your needs, explore if this is like the right connection, the right thing for you to do. I don't want to have anyone feeling like they're putting all this money up without ever like knowing for sure if it's the right fit. So there will be a free consultation. You can just email me, and I have my email down below as well. So email me if you're interested in a consultation, free, 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah, and I'll leave everything else down below. Thank you guys for holding space for me to talk about this and to share. Thank y'all for being here. I really deeply value each of you and appreciate y'all's presence and input. So, yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.